All right, let's just jump right into this because it's a wild one. Imagine you and your friends are stranded on a deserted island. I mean, no skills, no tools, nothing. Just this crazy idea. Could you actually build a boat from scratch and sail your way to freedom? Well, that's the exact question we're digging into today.
And right from the jump, the stakes were made crystal clear. This wasn't just some fun YouTube challenge. No, it was framed as a genuine life or death situation, which turned this whole thing into a super gripping survival story.
You know, it's that classic what if scenario we've all thought about. But these guys, they actually decided to test it. Could a group of entertainers who are completely, and I mean completely out of their element, actually conquer the wild with just sheer willpower? So first, let's talk about just how insane this whole task really was. The gap between what they needed to do and what they were actually capable of doing, well, it was huge. I mean, look at this. On one hand, you have the goal, a fully functional sailboat that can cross miles of open ocean. And on the other hand, you have the team, a bunch of friends who openly admit they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. They were starting from square one, literally zero. And before they could even think about building a boat, they had to just survive the island itself. They were struggling with the absolute basics, building a simple camp, trying to manage their water, and fighting this crushing heat that was leading to some really dangerous moments, like almost getting heat stroke. Okay, so this is Haas. He's the one guy on the team with a little bit of experience. And this quote from him is so important because it basically foreshadows the entire outcome. He knew from the get-go that their success wasn't just going to be about how hard they worked. It was going to come down to the unpredictable power of Mother Nature. So you're facing these impossible odds. How do you even begin? Well, their solution was honestly brilliantly unexpected. And here's the big twist in the story. You'd think they'd be chopping down trees, right? Using vines? Nope. Their key building materials were plastic barrels, old ropes, and all this other junk that had washed up on the shore. They literally built their escape vessel out of garbage. They turned pollution into a lifeline. And for a bunch of guys with no experience, they were surprisingly methodical. They started smart with a little miniature model to test the design. Then came the really hard part, scavenging for bamboo and barrels. The construction itself was just this marathon of tying knot after knot after knot. And finally, they had to craft all the other stuff, like a sail and oars, from whatever junk they could find. And this was the turning point. After days of just backbreaking work, they put the mainframe of the boat in the water, and it actually floated. You can just feel the pure joy and relief in that moment. The crazy dream of escaping suddenly felt like a real, tangible possibility. This quote right here just captures the whole experience, doesn't it? The physical toll was insane. I'm talking exhaustion, dehydration, bug bites, the works. But that feeling of accomplishment, of seeing your creation actually float, it made all that suffering feel worth it. So the boat is finally built, and now the final act begins, an 11-hour battle against the open sea. This is where their willpower and their little trash boat would face the ultimate test. Their journey was just this epic odyssey of small disasters and these little moments of triumph. They fought currents, they broke their equipment, they were suffering from seasickness. But then, about 8 hours in, they get this miraculous tide shift that gave them a second wind, a real shot at actually making it. And just to put their struggle into perspective for you, this was their top speed, 1 mile an hour. Every single foot of progress they made was earned through relentless, punishing paddling. It was just this excruciatingly slow crawl towards their goal. After hours and hours of that, their bodies were just giving out. I mean, they completely hit a wall of total physical and mental exhaustion. The whole crew was just fried, running on absolutely nothing but fumes and the hope of seeing that island get closer. Okay, and this brings us to the most dramatic part of the entire story. After enduring so much, victory was literally in sight. But the ocean, well, it had one last cruel twist waiting for them. Half a mile after traveling for over 11 hours, they were this close. They could see the trees on the beach. You can just feel the excitement building. They really think they've done it. And then this. In just a matter of minutes, the exact same force that had been helping them, the tide, it turned against them.
The current reversed and it just started pulling them away from the island, back out into the open ocean, basically erasing all of that progress they had worked so hard for.
So here's the crucial point to all this. They didn't fail because they gave up. They didn't fail because they didn't paddle hard enough. They failed because they were about 20 minutes too late. Their final battle wasn't against their own exhaustion. It was against the clock and an unbeatable force of nature. Man, you can just hear the absolute devastation in that. To work that hard, to suffer that much, and to have success snatched away from you at the very last moment, it's just an incredibly heartbreaking ending. So we're left with this question, right? They didn't reach the island, so technically they failed the mission. But they never stopped paddling. They never stopped trying until it was physically impossible to move forward. So does that change how we should view their incredible effort? It's definitely something to think about.